to see all that. And to get the memo that we have almost 45 Americans that's in town. That when I come to the inauguration, it felt amazing. My pops called me like, Con, listen, you know, these guys are here, they had nothing, you know, it wasn't a part of the thing. Do you have room for them? And I was like, oh, of course. You know, my biggest challenge and always been my fight was to try to get as many African Americans back home as possible. Wow. You know, from all my peers to music industry execs to athletes, actors, you name it. You know, I've been trying. But what's amazing is that when they start to see my success that has nothing to do with the music side of what they know me for, that's when they start to ask the questions. What are you doing? And then when I tell them what I'm doing, it's interesting that what I'm doing and what it's giving is what's motivating.
Right.
But I'm cool with that.
Right.
Because guess what? At the end of the day, in the States, that's what everybody's fighting for. You know, they fighting to be successful, they fighting to feed their families, they fighting to be in a position of power, they fighting to be in a position where they can actually really maximize whatever that gift is that they're exposing to everybody. But unfortunately, back home, the system just don't play fair with us.
No, it does not.
You know, and it's like, at what point do we say all the rights that we're fighting for in America, all the prejudice and bigotry that we fight against our people in America, how many protests do we have to, you know, engage in? How many miles do we have to walk barefooted before we realize this ain't our goddamn country? You can do what you want, as many times you want, complain as long as you want. Ain't nothing changing.
Right, right.
America was never built for you.
Right. Wow.
It just wasn't.
That's what you read.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, let's just go back home. Everything that we're fighting for back in America is available to you right here. And the crazy part about it is that the whole world's moving to Africa. Because now they realize the power of what Africa has to provide for the rest of the world. And they also understanding the value that Africa has for the stability of the rest of the world. So everybody actually, it's really a matter of who comes home first who's going to really benefit. When you look at families like the Rockefeller family and all these guys, they got in early. Chase, I mean, they all got in early.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson, these guys all got in early.
Vanderbilt.
I mean, we can go on and on. When they talk about family offices and family wealth, these are the families that engaged in industrial situations before the development started. You all have the opportunity to create that for your family in Africa.
All right.
That's what me and my father is doing. My father came to the United States with the hopes of making it. He did amazing for himself. Because we wasn't struggling at all. And if we was, Father made sure that we didn't feel it. I know now, at that time, we was going through some turbulence, because certain areas that I know of today just ain't areas that I would live in. But my pop was so well respected in those areas, I felt at home. But the amazing part about it is that we always lived in the suburbs. But somehow, I would always find myself back in the ghetto. And my mom was like, what's wrong with you? Why are you always in the hood? Because I was raised in Africa. And I was so surrounded by friends, family, and a certain environment that when I came to America, the hood was the closest to that environment that I could find. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was fun. You know, I could play hide and go seek. You know, you can chase the girls. You know, stuff that you can do in the neighborhood. Whereas in the suburbs, you got to be quiet. There's noise ordinances. If you say too much, they call the cops. So you couldn't get the freedom that I got in the hood. What comes with that, obviously, is a surroundment that you just might not want to be attached to, hanging with people that you shouldn't be attached to, because they're all attached to struggle, so they're going to do things to survive. When I don't necessarily have to do anything to survive, because my dad made sure we were all good. But now I'm trying to fit in with that crowd. But I felt like I went through that whole process to get me back here, though, because it gave me even a better understanding of what that struggle was in America. So it's easy to translate that situation to Africans here. And there was this big, you can say, misconception that Africans didn't like African Americans. Yes. A huge misconception. Not knowing that here you get the red carpet rolled out. I was in the music industry from 1993. I was working with the Fugees. That's how I started. Right, that's in Jersey. That's how I started with them. And my career ended up all the way up until, well, I would say my peak in 2008. But from the time when I was in music from 1993 to 2008, I might have accomplished more for my financial stability in the 2 years from 2008 to 2010 that I spent in Africa. So basically what I'm saying is the 2 years I spent in Africa made me more money in 2 years in Africa than I made in 15 years in music in America.
That's a lesson.
That's the opportunity. Anything that you can imagine that you always wanted to do, you can actually do it in Africa. They'll tell you in America you can do it. It sounds great. Oh yeah, land of the free. It sounds amazing. But try and do it. See how easy it is. Please try. I'm begging you. Think about it, right? Now, I knew nothing about energy before 2008. Absolutely nothing about energy, solar, anything in the energy sector. When I came to Africa, it opened up a door for me because I saw that there was a need for electricity in a lot of areas, especially in rural areas. So I decided to get into energy business. When we were successful in Africa, then I was able to utilize that success to do, energy in America. But what I realized, engaging into the energy business in Africa versus the energy business in America, there's not